Hello everyone, in this video we will learn how to determine a true critical path of a project using Primavera. Determining a true critical path while performing the delay analysis is very important to acquire the details like compensable delay event, non-compensable delay event and entitlement to extension of time.
Our focus in this video will be on covering three specific things. First, we will see the definition of critical path as per PIMBOK, as per AAC International Recommended Practice, as per SCL Delay and Disruption Protocol, and as per Primavera itself. Second, I'll demonstrate how to solve the mystery of longest path, and in the last, I'll share some additional tips and tricks. Now let's go through the definition of critical path. As per Delay and Disruption Protocol by Society of Construction Law UK, the critical path is the longest sequence of activities through a project network from start to finish. The sum of those durations determines the overall project duration. There may be more than one critical path depending on the workflow logic. A delay to progress of any activity on the critical path will, without acceleration or resequencing, cause the overall project duration to be extended and is therefore referred to as a critical delay. And as per Pinball Guide 7th edition, the critical path is the sequence of activities that represent the longest path through a project which determines the shortest possible duration. However, American Association of Cost Engineering International recommended practice number 29R03 for forensic schedule analysis tells how to calculate the critical path. You may find little bit difficult here to understand it, but in the later part of this video, with practical examples, you will get it. As per this protocol, critical path can be identified by using longest path option or total float option. In the early days of the development of the CPM, the longest path was the path with the lowest float. Using simple network logic only, the critical path of an unprogressed CPM network calculated using the longest path criterion or the lowest float value criterion is the same. Longest path criterion and the lowest path criterion we will see in the later part of this video. Most practitioners would agree that the longest path is a true critical path, even with the use of advanced techniques. These advanced techniques we will see in the later part of this video. If the basic network rules are observed with the total float value is a reasonable accurate way of identifying the critical path. But note that the float values are displayed using workday unit defined by underlying calendar assigned to the scheduled activities instead of in 7-day calendar units. Therefore, activities on a chain with uniform network tension may display different float values. Let's see how Primavera defines the critical path. Go to schedule option and select the options here. You can see there are two options. Define critical activities as the total float less than or equal to 0 or the longest path. So which one we should select? To understand this, let's avail the help option here. It will open up something like this, expand all and search. Define critical activities. It says if you choose total float less than or equal to, specify the maximum float time for activities before they are marked critical. You can type a number and time unit. Generally, it is 0. If you choose longest path, the activities on the longest path in the network are considered critical. In a multi-calendar project, the longest path is calculated by identifying the activities that have an early finish equal to the latest calculated early finish for the project and tracing all the driving relationship for those activity back to the project start date. Construction projects are complex projects and we use various calendar in a single project. So option 2 seems feasible for identifying the critical path. So we should select the longest path option here. Close and schedule it as per the data date. Now apply the filter of longest path. Now let's remove the summary activities. Delete. Okay. Now it is showing the longest path, but still we can see the overlapping activities. To resolve this, let's go back to the help section again. It also says that when you run the scheduler, the activities are flagged as critical based on the option you select as described above. If you also choose to calculate the multiple critical float path, this option is available in the advanced tab option. The float path are calculated after the project has been scheduled. The true critical path can be determined by using this multiple float path option. To calculate the multiple float path, select the advanced option and select the calculate multiple float path. Here there are two options, total float and free float. To understand it better, let's go to calculate multiple float path section.
If you choose to calculate multiple paths using total float, to calculate the most critical path, the module first determines which relation has the most critical total float. Using this relationship as the start point, the module determines which predecessor and successor activities have the most critical relation total float among all the possible paths until an activity is reached that doesn't have any relationship. The path that contains these activities is the most critical path. These activities are assigned a float value of 1 and the process begins again until the specified number of paths are calculated. If you choose to calculate multiple paths using free float, the most critical path will be identical to the critical path that is derived when you choose to define critical activities as the longest path in the general tab of the schedule option dialog box. In a multi-calendar project, the longest path is calculated by identifying the activities that have an early finish equal to the latest calculated early finish of the project and tracing all the driving relationship for those activities back to the project start date. Because construction projects are complex multi-calendar projects, we should choose free float option, and here we have to select the ending activity of the project, which is in our case is this activity. Now we can close it and schedule it as per the data date. Now the software has calculated multiple float paths using free float option. I have the two column float path and float path order. After this we have to create a filter. Go to new, type here float, select the value as 1. Add. Now apply this filter. Apply. OK. To make it more presentable, I'll remove these summary activities by going here. Let's delete it. OK. By utilizing this short trick, you can find a true critical path of the project.
This is how you can determine a true critical path. Now I have a suggestion. You can impact your program while performing the delay analysis by 4 ways. First, by imposing constraint. Second, by inserting lags. Third, by increasing the duration of activities. And fourth, by inserting delay fragments. It is always suggested to insert delay fragments while performing the delay analysis. I hope you have found this video informative. Thanks for being with me.